Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be cooking Mutton Karahi, a very delicious and special dish from South Asia. Let's have a look at the ingredients. We'll need 3/4 kilo of meat. In this case today we're using mutton. You can also use beef or chicken. Beef needs to be cooked longer, chicken needs to be cooked less. Now for the vegetables, for the karahi, we'll need 3 tomatoes, ripe tomatoes, half, 2 green chilies cut into small pieces, and I'll need 3 stalks of coriander leaves. And I have separated the stalks, so I've cut up the stalks. And also the leaves I've separated. This is more for like decoration later. Now we also need a ginger garlic paste. For that I have a large onion, 8 pieces of garlic, 3 cms of ginger. We'll grind into a paste which we'll be using. In terms of the masala, I want to just be careful and show you this. I have 1 big tablespoon of garam masala, half tablespoon of turmeric powder, half tablespoon of coriander powder, half tablespoon of red chili powder, half tablespoon of cumin powder, half tablespoon of black pepper. You can also buy the pre-mix for karahi if you can find that. Now we will need 1 cup of plain yogurt. We'll need ghee, and we'll need salt. Now for garnishing and making it more flavorful, we'll need about 3 cms of ginger cut into small sticks, and also the leaves of coriander from that 3 stalks of coriander. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to put the beef or the mutton or the beef into a pressure cooker. If you don't have a pressure cooker, you can just cook the meat directly, and that would actually take longer time, right? So today we're using a pressure cooker to make our task easier. I'll come back. So we'll put our meat into the pressure cooker. Right, so I've turned on the flame. I'm going to just add in about 1/3 cup of water, just a little bit of water, because there's a lot of fluid actually in the meat. Right, so for mutton, we want to cook it until we've got 3 whistles. For beef, 5 whistles, okay? Alright, so we'll let that cook and we'll come back. In the meantime, we'll actually go make our ginger garlic paste. So to help with the blending, I'm going to chop up the onion, ginger and garlic into smaller pieces. Alright, so I'm going to chop this and then I'm going to come back. Alright, so I've got everything chopped up, small pieces. Just going to empty into my blender. Okay, we'll go ahead and blend this. I'll come back. So to help with the blending, I'll add in just a 1/4 cup of water. Alright, and here we go. I'll blend this and come back. So my ginger garlic paste with onion is already blended, so we'll use this. Okay, that's 1. I'll turn off the flame now. Now we'll give it a few minutes to just cool down a little bit, but if you want to rush, you can just release the pressure using a stick. Okay, I'll give it 2 minutes. Alright, and I'll come back. Okay, I'm releasing the pressure now. Alright, so that's our meat, and we'll be cooking of course a little bit more afterwards. Now reserve the liquid, do not throw away the liquid because we're actually going to use that to flavor the karahi. I'll come back. So we'll start by heating up a few tablespoons of oil. So what we want to do is we want to spoon the meat out into the oil, reserve the cooking liquid. Okay, so I'm going to do this and I'm going to come back. Alright. Alright, so remember, reserve the cooking liquid. And I'll come back. Alright, so we'll give our meat a bit of a fry. We're just using some vegetable oil here. Okay. We'll fry this for about 1 to 2 minutes. So after 1 to 2 minutes, we'll just put in our ginger garlic paste. And if you want more gravy, you basically add in more of this. Okay, this ginger garlic and onion paste with the tomatoes will form the base of the gravy. Alright, so we'll just fry this for a little while. About 2 to 3 minutes. And we'll come back. It might seem like a lot of ginger garlic paste, but actually a lot of it is actually onions, so that will cook down. So don't worry about it when you see it like this, okay? Now we're going to put in about a tablespoon of salt. There's a lot of meat here and a lot of vegetables. We need to salt this properly. And then now we'll put in the vegetables as well. The tomatoes, the green chili, and the coriander stalks. Okay. Now there's a reason why we only put in half, not quarter or smaller, and you'll figure out afterwards. Put the skin side down. Like this. And then put in the chilies and the coriander. Anywhere. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to push this thing down. Like this. I'm going to cover this. It's very important that we actually cover it during this stage. Okay, now we'll give it a stir. Okay, remember to keep the tomato skin side down. Alright, now it's a bit dry. Now is a good time to add back the stock. Alright, so all the stock that we actually use the pressure cooker. Okay, we're gonna add, don't worry about the liquid, we have to cook this thing down. Okay, and these are all flavor that we cannot miss. I'll come back. So we'll let that thing boil and cook. I'm just gonna cover this for a few minutes. So after about 3 minutes, now what we'll want to do is to take off the tomato skins. So if you turn it around, you can start pulling off the tomato skins. That's why we kept the tomatoes in half, so that it's actually easier to remove the skins. So like this. Okay, so we only have like 6 pieces of skin to remove. Okay, so like this. Okay, if you have cut the tomatoes any smaller, it will be too impossible to look for the skins. Alright, okay, so I'm going to remove this and come back. So remove the skins. Now at the point of time, we will crush the tomatoes. Okay, so at this point of time, because there's so much of fluid, okay, we don't need to cover this thing anymore. We just let it cook down. Okay, so we're going to crush the tomatoes like this. Okay, we just make sure we stir, and so that the bottom doesn't burn. So we squash the tomatoes. If we don't remove the skin, that's almost plasticky. Okay, so I'm going to let this cook uncovered until it becomes a little bit drier, and then we'll come back. Okay. Now one of the things about karahi is that you got to cook it with a very high flame, and you got to hopefully keep stirring it. A good thing is that I've got a non-stick wok, but if you don't have one, you got to keep stirring it to prevent it from burning. Okay, so you got to really cook it in very high heat to reduce the water or the liquid, so it becomes actually thick and flavorful. Alright, so I'm going to keep doing this and I'm going to come back. So when the liquid is reduced by half, we now want to put in all our masala, all of it. Okay, so we'll just stir this, and then the correct color of karahi will turn up. So the correct color of mutton karahi is going to be, okay, maybe I just put a bit too much turmeric. just a little bit less yellow than this. Okay, but we're going to be putting yogurt afterwards, so this will like reduce the yellow color. Okay, so I'm going to continue reducing this fluid, and I'm going to come back. The fluid is reducing. Now to add in our cup of yogurt. This is to make the sauce very rich. Okay, so we'll just stir it in, and then we'll continue reducing for another 15 minutes. Okay, so I'll come back. As we are cooking it down, you will be able to start seeing the oil starting to separate. This is exactly where we want to get to. When it starts drying up, that oil will start lifting up and the sauce will be super thick. And then when we mix in the fresh ginger and the coriander leaves, it will be amazing. We're going to add in a bit of ghee in a bit, but I need to let it reduce a little bit more. Okay, now we add in 2 tablespoons of ghee. If you're on a diet, don't eat a karahi. So it is. Okay, welcome back. So we'll like stir in the ghee. Let's add some more richness to the dish. Again, if you're on a diet, don't eat a karahi. You can see how thick the sauce has become, and the oil is starting to separate. Yeah, that's exactly where we want to get to. Okay, I'm going to keep stirring this. Now when you start seeing that the gravy starts non-sticking to the pan, to the karahi, can you see? Like when you move it, it's becoming like slippery, and it almost like just leaves the pan. Now that's when the oil starts separating from the gravy, and we're just going to cook it a little while more because we don't want it to be super dry. The gravy is good for eating with breads and rice. Okay, so we are almost there, and the color actually looks quite perfect. Actually, in fact, that's a little bit too much turmeric. I should have like cut it down to maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. Should be just a little bit less pale, more pale than this. Okay, so you can see like the oil is separating now. When you move over the gravy, you can see like it's actually like moving away from the pan. Can you see? Yeah, that's actually quite good. Okay, I'm gonna fry this a little while more and come back. So when you see the gravy, it starts sticking to the meat and then it doesn't like flow back anymore. Okay, this should be dry enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take half of my coriander leaves and I'll leave half for garnishing. Okay, so half I'll just stir it in to flavor the gravy, and the rest I'm going to use it just for garnishing. Okay, so just stir the coriander in. Okay, and give it a minute. I'll come back. Alright, so it's dry enough. I'm going to turn off the heat now and just let the residual heat mellow down the sauce. So you can see it's like almost like really thick and dry now. Remember that you've got all the stock and all the yogurt and all the ghee and all the spices all cooking into this special dish. Took me about like 45 minutes to cook this. Okay, but definitely all worth the effort. So the karahi is done. Okay, now it is to dress it. Okay, so we will dress it with basically some coriander. Okay, just like this. And then we'll put some sticks of ginger on top of it. Okay, so we're just going to give it a mix. Okay, then we'll add in the balance of the sticks of ginger. The ginger, when eaten with the karahi, is amazing. Okay, and the rest of the ginger. Okay, and the rest of the ginger like this. Okay, so I'm gonna go and like dress this and come back. Okay, And there we have it. This is mutton karahi. Perfect with flatbreads and or rice. Try this. Takes a long time to cook. Takes a little bit of effort. Absolutely worth it. Okay, if you got any questions or if you've cooked this before, share in the comments below.